All right, Mr. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We have decided to start this show a bit early today because of what we got to actually discuss here. It's great to be back this evening or this morning or this afternoon, depending from where you're watching from. Let me say hands up to all of you. It's a pleasure once again. And of course, we'll try to combine two shows here tonight because of what we have on the plate to discuss. So we do the print news together with Profile Liberia together tonight, or this morning or this afternoon, depending your time. And so because we're starting a bit early and we're combining the two shows together, we are going to kick the ball rolling right now. Many of you, especially Liberians, and let me welcome my big brother. My big brother, of course, with huge respect for you, Amas, from Nigeria, but based here in the UK. It's a pleasure. Thank you for coming on the platform. Many of you Liberians, last year we heard of the organization More Than Me. And some of us have seen the documentary regarding this organization. And we know that this organization, as far as the case behind this is concerned, they are an organization that is still in the dark with respect to what happened and what they were involved in. And the reason we are still coming back to remind you of the More Than Me Foundation is that what this organization did or what they were involved in, the accusation about what they did, if it was anywhere in the Western world where, let me put it this way, very blunt, where a black man was running an organization, an NGO of that nature, and what they did, what More Than Me did in Liberia or was accused of doing in Liberia, if they are involved in such an act, in any Western world. Long time, but now the organization is dead. And by now they are the people, the front runners, including the founder, should have been before the law. But I don't know what happened with Africa. And I don't even know what happened with our leaders. I don't know. I really want to know tonight from you, fellow Liberians, what is happening with us. And I'm so angry tonight when I saw a video, a live video, of the Vice President of Liberia going to More Than Me Foundation to celebrate, to jubilate with them. Why this case is still hanging on them. I'm ashamed of my country right now for what my leader did today. I am ashamed of Liberia right now. I am. And I'll reiterate this. Such will never happen in the Western world. You and your organization is done. Done deal. It's shut down. And you never operate, and you will go to court. And all those children that are involved somehow, one way or another, the price will be paid by you. It's shameful for our Vice President to have gone to the activities today of More Than Me to go and celebrate, to go and raise praises to them. Praising them for what? Abusing our children and damaging the children's future? Oh no. You are a mother. Yes, in fact, yes, we know your children, they are all grown up and they are no longer perhaps in Liberia or so. But that doesn't give you the right to go and celebrate with More Than Me. In fact, this case was on the docket when you came to power, Madam Joy Howard Taylor. It was. And you knew about this case here. Coming to power now as a woman, as a mother, perhaps we could say the first mother of the state as vice president. We thought you would have been the right person to even begin to call on the law to bring the case back on course. But here you are, going to celebrate with somebody that came in the country, an organization that came in the country, knowingly destroyed the children, our children's future. And then you've gone there to celebrate with them. We're gonna watch it. We're gonna watch the documentary for some of you. Perhaps we have seen it, but we're gonna take a little bit step back again. Let's see the documentary, and then I'll welcome your calls later on. Just have your say. How do you feel about your vice president going to celebrate with the More Than Me project or foundation? How do you feel? What are your concerns? As a mother, especially you, the mothers that are on this platform tonight, that will be coming on later. I just want you to give us an honest answer. We'll say in the right direction for the vice president to have gone and graced the occasion organized by the More Than Me Foundation. Is it right? I'm ashamed of my country right now. So shameful. It's so shameful. We're going to watch the documentary Unprotected right now. And just to have it, to retrospect a little bit, respect to what we're talking about. We'll be jumping here and there in the documentary just to acquaint ourselves and remind ourselves of what we're talking about here.
Welcome back to the Cultural Show. It's 9 minutes past 9 a.m. in Monrovia. A few years ago, a group of young American women opened a school in Monrovia called More Than Me Academy, founded by Hattie Mallow, supposedly for vulnerable girls.
More Than Me help people to take them out of the street, help them go to school to learn better. Yeah. More Than Me change many girls' life. Because they should make our dream come true.
My name is Katie Myler, and I'm the founder of More Than Me. And we help some of the world's most vulnerable children get off the street and into school.
More Than Me started originally as a scholarship for kids in a slum in Monrovia, Liberia. And then she, in 2013, launched an all-girls academy in central Monrovia.
I live in Westport, so I'm like familiar with majority of the girls' stories. More Than Me are the most vulnerable girls of the street. These girls who have been abused morally, sexually, physically. These are the girls that More Than Me works with.
I think that More Than Me tried and tries to do its best. These things that happen are fucking really bad and really hideous.
Our friend, but I just have to do it. He said if I don't do it, which means I will not go on a scholarship. And he said, Katie bringing plenty of things that will make our life change. So I should not lose my opportunity.
It was a tight group of people who truthfully believe they're doing something amazing and good. Who truthfully believe that the institutions in Liberia are so bad that you really can't get worse. So there's nothing that they can do that they don't see as a win for those kids, including the unthinkable.
Look here, an 11 years old child or 12 years old. I couldn't really imagine that they were really having sex. But see what they have to live with. See how young they are for their life to have a question mark, I will say it that way.
Goes to More Than Me Foundation.
The More Than Me Foundation from Washington, D.C. provides scholarships, uniforms, and supplies to help young girls in Liberia attend school and further their education.
Thousands of you wrote "I am Abigail" on your face. You flash mobbed. You learned how to use Twitter for the first time. And you did this for Abigail. A little girl in Liberia who doesn't have a mom or a dad. A girl who was on the street selling herself at 11 years old because she didn't have a glass of clean water. There should be no little girl forced to work on the streets when her biggest dream is to go to school. It always seems impossible until it's done. Now let's go do it!
In 2017, ProPublica set out to learn what happened to a group of students who suffered the very kind of abuse at More Than Me that the charity was established to prevent. This film includes interviews with former students and staff, as well as More Than Me's history, in their own words, as told on social media and in promotional videos.
West Point is one of the most notorious slums in West Africa. You know, one of the most notorious slums in the world.
She came playing with children. She come in the community, she dance, she play. When you eating, she will pull him and eat with you. Yeah, she loves people.
Katie Myler first visited Liberia shortly after college, interning with an evangelical charity.
I made friends with all these street kids, and we're drawing, donkeys in the sand, and I'm like throwing their naked children in the ocean. They don't have bathing suits. And we would spin and spin and spin, and we'd fall on the ground. And I looked at these children and I said, if you could have anything.
Katie Myler met Macintosh Johnson a few years after the war ended, when he showed her around West Point. At that time, he organized sports for children on the beach.
When we play with the kids and they'd all gather around, he was out in the streets, he showed me where the kids were. They're sleeping under canoes, he walked me through the whole place. They met all the prostitutes. And they were all like 10, 11, 12, they all kind of knew him and hung around with him.
I was not in school at that time. Yeah. Before I eat, they will use me and give me money before I eat. Yes, actually, I was taking him to be my protector because Macintosh fought war before. And most of the boys are afraid of him. So if you say, oh, don't touch your girl, you'll be afraid. So you will not come closer to me.
When Katie launched More Than Me in Liberia, Macintosh became her partner on the ground. He recruited girls for her scholarship program, sending them to private schools, and later found students for More Than Me's own school.
Macintosh was introduced to me as the Jesus of West Point, is what she used to call him. Macintosh was a bit of a point person. It was Katie and Macintosh, an American who's there to get the money and a Liberian who knows what's going on the streets. And they were that partnership.
Macintosh Johnson's house became More Than Me's home base, painted with its name. Giving out scholarships made Macintosh a powerful figure in West Point. He was seen as someone who could transform a girl's life. While Macintosh worked in West Point, Katie raised funds in the US for most of the year to pay the girls' school fees.
LA, you have helped us get here and open the doors of our first ever academy. So I'm in Seattle, Washington. I just came here because... And this was literally the happiest day of my life. Okay.
What would be the one thing you would want from anyone that wants to do everything they can to help us here? Real commitment.
To expand Katie Mayer's initiative to as many communities as possible and get all those young girls in school learning to become good professionals.
The fanfare of the opening day gave way to a hopeful, if chaotic, first school year. More Than Me students would be taught, in part, by international volunteers who were asked to raise $10,000 to participate.
And I don't think a lot of them were actually teachers, were actually trained teachers.
More Than Me is at an incredible stage of its own organizational development. It has come so far from when Katie's dream started in 2009.
Michelle Spader was More Than Me's program director when the academy opened.
You own your job. There's no director, there's no manager, there's no person. You do what your heart is telling you to do for yourself, but most importantly for our students.
This really could have been the beautiful story that we hear if we had just tightened the organization up. There was an ignorance around how badly things could go if the right structures, governance weren't in place.
I think many of us carry different levels of responsibility inside of this. And, I hold myself very accountable for that.
There was this case there. I've been receiving tons of messages. There's talk of systematic sexual abuse. It has been discovered that 10 of these girls, these vulnerable girls who are attending this school, More Than Me Academy, ages 12 to 16, have complained of being repeatedly raped on the premises of the school by a man named, allegedly raped by a man named Macintosh Johnson.
Michelle?
Michelle Spader didn't go on camera, but she spoke extensively on Skype.
You're okay to talk on the record?
Yes, I am okay to talk on the record.
Okay.
I applied for the job when I first met Katie. I was excited by the grassroots nature of what she was doing. Another theme is kind of like growing pains, right? Of like kind of taking this organization from a place where there were slumber parties and parties and anyone could be at Macintosh's house at any hour to, what does opening a school and introducing policy and all this stuff. But I think the hard thing is that stuff can't happen just like overnight.
Michelle Spader recruited Iris Martor, a registered nurse with years of NGO experience, to be the first school nurse. She was later promoted to program manager.
I realized that most of the children, even though they were very young, but they were sexually active. Because a lot of them were coming to the clinic with STI, signs and symptoms of STI.
Iris first learned of sexual abuse at More Than Me when a student came to the school clinic.
I said, tell me the truth, are you having sex? She didn't want to say, but I could tell from her face that the answer was yes. I said, well, when she told me Macintosh, I just did it. I just went off. I said, how long has this been going for? It was like 2 years.
Wow.
2 years. So it means she was 13. And 2 years, so it means she was like 11 when it started. I said, okay. Then I treated her. I gave her the drugs. But I was too trouble. I couldn't tell Michelle that this child is having sex and she said Macintosh is responsible.
Why?
Because that very day Macintosh just told me that he and Katie had a relationship.
Katie says their romantic relationship had ended 3 years earlier, but they remained very close.
The personal relationship there kind of created this problem where people felt like they couldn't speak up, students and staff members.
So then it was a few months actually until...
I told Michelle.
Until Michelle.
Yes.
In those 5 intervening months, 2 more students were raped for the first time.
When I challenged him on that, this is what he came back to me with, was like, get off your effing soapbox. And that man continues to be the chair of the board.
In a letter sent to ProPublica, Skip Borghesi's lawyer vehemently denies Michelle's account and says he expressed concern only for the victims.
I was shocked that no board member saw any way that anybody in our organization, except for Macintosh, was in any way responsible for what happened.
Michelle Spader reported the case to police, and in the following days, students and staff gave interviews to the authorities.
The first day of my school, went school out. Then he called me in the bathroom. Then he went and locked the door. I asked him, why'd you lock the door for? Then I started shouting.
Macintosh have sex with me plenty time. I can't count it.
My whole body was hurting and my vagina was hurting and I did not see blood.
He said that if I tell my grandmother, then something will happen to me.
The same day he beat me is same day he promised to help me with food anytime I'm hungry.
He never used condom that day. He been doing it until I got pregnant. When I told him, he said I should take it out. And I said, I don't want to die. He then say, if you don't take out the belly, he will take me from the scholarship and say he don't know me.
On June 16th, 2014, Macintosh Johnson was arrested and taken to jail. More Than Me moved most of the girls who accused him to a safe house for their own protection. The day after the arrest,
I thought that I was poor.
Katie Myler took the stage in New York.
I got a phone call, like, oh my God, the worst things happened, I'm so freaked out. She was that day or the following day going to speak to the Forbes 400. And you're basically giving a speech to 400 of the wealthiest people in the world about the work that you're doing.
Can I fix this building up?
Buffett got down and proposed to her on one knee. because he's so smitten with this beautiful story that he's just heard about these children being saved from sexual exploitation.
So how did it make you feel when Macintosh Johnson ends up arrested and accused of the rape of as many as 30 girls?
Shitty. I don't know, it was one of those things where you were like, ah, fuck, that's not surprising, all of a sudden. And all of a sudden you're like, and you remember, oh yeah, we did, we asked him about that, and you know, and it didn't, and...
In fact, long before the school was built, there were rumors about Macintosh Johnson and young girls.
And according to Shikedi, Macintosh's first wife accused Macintosh of sleeping with the girls. And it was the reason why she was leaving Macintosh.
Michelle Spader gave a similar account when she first reported Macintosh.
Katie said, you know, that she looked into it and talked to all the parties and that, you know, nothing was founded. But she did say to me in that moment, like, basically, like, it wouldn't surprise me.
There was one point where we did confront him. And because we had heard rumors, I believe it was from his ex-wife, that she said that he was, you know, that he was into young, small girls. And so we confronted him. We sat him down. I think I have video of it back somewhere. And we asked him about it, and he swore up and down that it wasn't true. And what could we have, you know, and I don't know, like, I didn't run the school. I was just a filmmaker, you know. There was an issue. We confronted him about it. I don't know how much more I could have done on my end.
Holden Warren would not provide the footage, saying he asked Katie Myler, but she doesn't see how it would be in her interest. In a meeting with the board at a Manhattan public relations firm where no cameras were allowed, Katie Myler denied that she was ever cautioned about Macintosh Johnson having sexual contact with children.
So, honestly, my first reaction of like, what the hell is going on in that room? You know, I remember feeling like something is wrong here. But then Macintosh's wife and his daughter like walked out behind them and you know, Macintosh and said, oh, we were all just napping. And to me, looking back, I mean, their testimonies talk about multiple girls on a bed being raped and his wife in the room and his daughter in the room. And I now fully believe that that was happening at that time.
The rapes and their aftermath upended the lives of the young victims. But the crisis within More Than Me would soon be overshadowed.
An international health crisis unprecedented in modern times. Ebola. Ground Zero, Liberia.
The very week Macintosh Johnson was arrested, a new threat arrived in Monrovia and claimed its first victims. It would change the face of Liberia and More Than Me.
Half of the Ebola cases in the world are in Liberia, West Africa.
As he's placed in the ambulance, anxious eyes take notice. Watching too is Katie Myler, an American charity worker from New Jersey. This is her organization's own ambulance, bought when it was clear Liberia's healthcare system was collapsing.
The ambulance is able to carry the sick out very quickly here. In other communities, it can take up to 3-4 days before an ambulance arrives. For us, it's 30 minutes.
Instagram became the platform where I was just telling the world what was going on plainly. My Instagram page was where everybody was getting photos for world news.
We watched the horrors unfold on Katie's Instagram.
If there is a hell, this is what it was.
Time even featured her incredible work in their Person of the Year issue.
Iris Martor shared the same honor for her work going door to door to identify and help the sick. Holden Warren was hired to shoot video for More Than Me during the Ebola crisis.
And we were in the hot zone. We were in West Point. It was Ebola everywhere. Bodies. Like, what? What? Crazy. And they didn't care. They went in there. They were brave people. Damn it. It was beautiful. I still get goosebumps.
More than a year later, the Ebola crisis was over and the charity was thriving, preparing to expand. Behind closed doors, Macintosh Johnson's trial finally began in September 2015. 10 girls testified, one by one, about the rapes, their identities hidden from the court. Michelle Spader was the case's original complainant, and before the trial she promised a U.S. advisor to the prosecution that she would testify. But in the end, prosecutors never called her or Katie Myler to the stand. In the courtroom, the defense made much of their absence.
They were the people who accused the men of raping the girls. They abandoned the case. They did not come to court. I even planned to subpoena them. They could nowhere be found within the bailiwick of the Republic. They had all traveled gone back to the States. So it helped my case.
By the time of the trial, Michelle had left More Than Me and returned to the US.
How does it make you feel that your absence in the court was actually a key plank of the defense's case?
I mean, again, it makes me sick. To be very honest with you, Finn, I didn't even know that the trial was going on.
Okay.
I had
Look
the
at this. Yeah, this
expectation
one.
that I would be a part of that. Anyone in that organization, and even in the sex crimes unit, all those people knew that I would be there in a heartbeat.
Yeah, this one.
Katie Myler was in Liberia during some of the trial.
What is your understanding of why you didn't end up testifying in the case?
Yeah, I'm not like a justice. I don't know everything about the Ministry of Justice in Liberia or in the United States, but I was never asked to testify, and I didn't know that that was something I should have pushed to have done.
Before the trial, prosecutors had learned that Katie was still in contact with McIntosh in prison.
They had pulled phone records, McIntosh's phone records, or somehow the sex crimes unit, and showed that there was continuing phone calls between the two of them. And so I remember having a conversation with Katie of this cannot continue. But it was just really obvious throughout this whole process that the conflict of interest there was just too big.
Without any of the Americans testifying, it was the girls' words against McIntosh. The defense claimed they had conspired to lie about the rapes. Many jurors believed it. The jury hung 8-4, just short of McIntosh Johnson going free. More Than Me's leaders tell the story differently.
One of the biggest challenges is sexual exploitation, right? The rape rates are extraordinary, and the level of justice is, terrible. So even at More Than Me Academy, we had a rape. We had a staff member who had raped kids, and that happened in the very first year of the school, and when we found out, we threw him in jail, and he ended up dying in jail.
Saul Garlick left out important facts. The girls would never see McIntosh Johnson retried because he died in custody with AIDS.
After he was arrested, I heard rumors that he's sick.
In 2015, 2 students fell seriously ill. They had been named by classmates as rape victims, but denied it. The school had them tested, and both were HIV positive. Although nearly a quarter of More Than Me students had been identified as possible victims, the charity only tested the trial witnesses. One of them also had HIV. More Than Me says that all the students had access to free medical treatment and that HIV awareness was part of their education program.
Did the school, number one, make sure that all the girls in the school were tested, bearing in mind that Johnson had contact with a number of different people?
No.
Do you know why not?
I don't know why. They didn't test the entire student body. They didn't tell the community about McIntosh.
More Than Me board members say they were not told at the time that McIntosh had AIDS.
I had no idea because I've never seen any ounce of proof of what he died of. That is a fact. I have no idea what he died of.
know that.
I doubt. Let me be super clear. It's not my business what he died of. I have no idea.
It is not your business.
You think it's not your business what McIntosh Johnson died of in relation to your students who were raped?
We did take.
Hold on.
We tested the students, and I will say, do you not realize the
Our
backgrounds of some of
obligation
these
is to
students
the
that come
girls,
from?
not to knowing McIntosh's cause of death.
It took only a quick visit to a government official and a couple of emails to confirm that McIntosh had AIDS.
The organization is our 4th year. They decided to help. Maybe initially their intention was pure, but the person who you use to do the recruitment, if the person did anything wrong, you are held responsible. if Liberia were other countries where parents are highly educated and know their rights, more than me could be sued.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
For their children illness.
Yeah, even in America, yes.
To me, at that point, you've done so much obvious damage that you really just need to figure out whether you just need to back up and not be the one teaching young girls.
No, not at all.
I think anywhere else in the world, everybody involved would be in some way held to account.
Including you.
Yeah.
As a board member.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
After Macintosh Johnson died, More Than Me closed the safe house. Most girls remained outside West Point, and the charity continued to pay their school fees. All but one. She was no longer in school and selling herself online to survive.
I think if I change and pay attention to More Than Me, I will become one person that will make my family to come up. But actually, after the case, I just feel discouraged because they stop come to me. Yeah, they can't pay attention. If I call them, no way. If I call on the campus, they will not pay attention.
Just because a little girl testified.
Katie, she carried me far is stop that my whole life looking upside down. I don't understand anything about my life.
If I told you that I met one of the students and that student basically feels that she is nobody and that she wishes that she'd never gone forward in the case because at least Johnson looked after her and now there's no one to look after her, how would that make you feel?
I mean, terrible. I mean, that means that we have failed these young women who had such strength to come forward and tell their story. But I mean, it doesn't surprise me. I don't think there's this deep sense of responsibility from the organization that, you owe these girls something for what they went through. I don't believe that that's there. I think that it should be.
And Katie doesn't even want this to be mentioned. She feels that the case became an embarrassment to her prestige. There are a lot of times people come from outside and they underestimate the power of Liberians. They think that we are all stupid people with little or no education, and our system is fragile and it can get away because their skin is white. That's why Katie feels. But it's not true.
Iris Martor left More Than Me in 2017.
All right. Fellow citizen, I just thought that we should reflect a little bit. Since we come in to talk about this issue, More Than Me, like I told them the last time, it's not something that we should just let go of it like that. Let me get this short break.
Oh, Daddy, what shall we do?
What shall we do?
Oh, Daddy, what shall we do?
What shall we do?
All right, welcome back to the show. Tonight, we have two shows combined together, Profile Liberia and the Print News Review. Decided to go back to the More Than Me documentary. A documentary made about the More Than Me Foundation. The reason being is that we are aware that this organization is still alive in Liberia and is still functioning. We are also aware that today the More Than Me Foundation that you just heard of. Very, very horrible stories that you heard of. Was today celebrating, was today having an event which was graced by the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia. Madam Joy Howard Taylor was there and she spoke there. I'm going to play you that clip as well. But there are some Liberians, including myself, who are not happy. And I am not happy. You heard from even some of the organization's on board members. Now perhaps they even thought that the organization shouldn't be alive up to the point of the documentary. Yes. I mean, they are admitting in the video. Yes, we knew there was rape cases being reported. And yet and still these people, they didn't care to do it. Because why? Our children are black children. Because why? Our children are very, very poor. They are from a very poor background. Now, whatever you do to them, the next day when you go, you give the parent about $5 or $10 US, the case is okay. They took advantage of the children. They took advantage of the children. They knew that something wrong was going within the organization. A key member of the organization is doing something terribly, terribly bad. That such repetition being tarnished will never ever happen in the Western world. Never. Where Katie Miller came from, in the United States of America, no organization would be involved in such. And you think up to this point from 2015, 16, and 19 we're talking about, that you are still existing in America and you are not in court? Come on, man. That's a lie. That's a lie. And even if you are a president of the United States of America and your organization is involved, your charitable initiative is tangled with such a repetition, yours is finished. Even your career will be at stake. And yet and still, terrible things like this happen in our land, our children. When people went there and say one of the pretense that they have gone to give them, to lift them up from poverty. Only to create room for the children to be raped. One after another, one after another, one after another. Under age, far below underage. You heard the other story. From about 11 years old, this guy started sleeping with the little girl. Up to 13. Tell me, man, you're running an institution and somebody come and blow whistle to you. Something like this is happening. And you don't worry? You don't think? You don't do something about it? You don't wake up? You don't call the individual to book? You don't ask them questions? And you let things go like that for so long till to the point that a child or children will die? I'm angry. Might not know the children, any of the children that are involved in this saga. But the fact of the matter, they are children of Liberia. They are my children. And that's why I'm angry. Now up to this point, Up to this point, there's nobody to speak for these children. Yes, some of them are dead and gone, but their souls, man, never rested in peace because nobody cared to speak. Oh yes, if it was here, where I am here in the United Kingdom, or where the charity, the fund that came from the United States of America, oh, no way. Those children, their souls will rest in peace because why? The law will hold them responsible. But now people behind bars, let me let you know. And then we're having more than me today. Having celebration, having an event, and they invited the vice president, a woman in power in Liberia, to go and celebrate with them. And she went there today. Madam Joy Howard Taylor, going there today to grace that occasion, to me, was a betrayal of all the women and children of Liberia, especially girls' children. Madam Taylor, we are not happy. You made the case. You made the case. In fact, you were in the Senate. I didn't hear you talking about the case. Now you have the power in your hand. Where are you supposed to go and say, well, I heard a case about more than me last year or 2 years ago. What happened with that case? What is going on? Yes, that is what I expected you to do. That is what we expected you to do, Madam Joy Howard Taylor. And contact the Minister of Gender. What's happening? Contact the Minister of Justice. What is going on with this case? We heard a case about more than me. They stay hanging up in the air. We want to know, what is the end of this case? More than me is still operating in Liberia as a charitable institution. Well, Madam Taylor, for you to have gone to that occasion today, I'm ashamed of my country. I am ashamed of my country. I am. You betray the women of Liberia. You today betray the children, the girls' children of Liberia. Those children, some of them that died, you know, are no longer around us. But yes, their souls around us. What's about those that are stayed in the school? Have you questioned the school? To say all the children in our school, we want them to be tested for all STIs? Eh? Have you done that? No. And yet and still we heard horrible stories in this documentary where children came down with HIV/AIDS. And it was reported that a board member, Macintosh, the board member of a More Than Me, died of HIV/AIDS. Who slept with the children. 2 children dying of HIV/AIDS. They died, being positive. What's up with the rest of the children? What's up with those that didn't come out to say anything? Here the little girl. Oh yeah, because I went and testified. They dumped me. They don't want to pay attention to me anymore. If I go around the school, nobody cares. They don't even want to see me anymore. I mean, how can you behave like this? That girl should be number 1 to be on the list to help her, to recover from what she's going through. Give her counseling, guide her, protect her, and boost her future. But you guys gone and dashed her down. Then our vice president is going there today to celebrate with more Than Me project, with More Than Me Foundation. Celebrating what? For abusing our children? Celebrating what? For damaging our children's future? This is wrong. This isn't right. Educated. Yes, I know. You are educated. You are one of the you are among the most educated women in the Republic of Liberia. Yes, Madam Joy Howard Taylor. But then here you are. You should have turned that invitation down. In front of which, that by last year, you will have come out to question the existence of more than me. Yes, at which you have contacted the relevant institutions and asked about the case of more than me to be brought to light. But you people are agreeing to bury this story down. For what? Few dollars? Few dollars? Come on, man. Because why? Katie Miller go to the States and go and talk to, Forbes guys, the richest guys on earth, and get millions of dollars to run the foundation and come and give some cut to some other people. This is why you people are betraying the trust of the children of Liberia? Shame. I am also very, very ashamed of my country today. Yes, my leader. What she did today. I'm ashamed. My lines are open. If you want to call and make your contribution, please feel free to call. The video is now activated. You can call the video. We're going to take a short musical break, but while we're doing that, you can place your call in as well. Sorry for that. And we will go back and listen to some of the interaction today as well. All right, let's go now. Let's listen to the event I'm talking about today.
The Vice President of the Modern Day Academy in observance of International Women's Day, I am pleased and honored to nominate Honorable Chief Dr. Joel Howard Taylor, Vice President of the Republic of Liberia.
Okay, I was there. Good morning, everybody. I want to thank the staff and the administration of the Modern Day School for being strong and being resilient. International Women's Day is about being what? Strong and resilient. Because truthfully, in Africa and many.
All right, guys, give me one more minute. I just give me 1 minute. I just had a small problem there, but we're gonna go back to the video. Let me see. Oh my God, I think I did something wrong here. I did something very terribly wrong here. Yeah, I didn't realize this. I didn't realize this. I did something terribly wrong. I do sincerely apologize. Let me see if I can. Let's take a musical break. I'll come back soon. I need to bring that clip to you.
Oh, Daddy, what shall we do?
What shall we do?
Honorable Chief Dr. Joel Howard.
All right, I think we're getting there bit by bit. Let's see.
Vice President of the Modern Men Academy in observance of International Women's Day, I am pleased and honored to nominate Honorable Chief Dr. Joel Howard Taylor, Vice President of the Republic of Nigeria.
Okay, Justice, I was saying. Good morning, everybody. I want to thank the staff and the administration of the Modern Day School for being strong and being resilient. International Women's Day is about being what? Strong and resilient. Because truthfully, in Africa and many parts of the world, women go through difficulties. But all it does is make you strong and resilient. And so for us, looking at all of the issues that surround our country today, I would like to read this point because I think it is so important. Like our speaker who spoke about the monologue, said she's the girl next door, but she could be the next president of Liberia in her age. She could be the next Chief Justice. She could be the next Minister of Health. So if you can't help her, don't harm her. I am a girl. I'm not a bride, or I'm not your wife. Because girls or a child shouldn't be a wife, right? Yes. So I am a child. I am not a bride. Give me a pen and not your pennies. Ask for my books and not for my boobs or my breasts. Pay my school fees, not pay a bride price. Give me education and not your ejaculation. Say no to sexual and domestic violence. Keep girls in school. I bring you greetings from all of us who are women of Liberia, because I know that there are women doing different things across our country over the next couple of days. The Ministry of Gender had a program yesterday in Takata talking about the same things. The international theme this year is using equality for innovation. And everybody knows what innovation is, right? Creating new things. So as you talk about maybe building skyscrapers, there should be women architects as well as male architects. What are the new things you are learning on the computer? They now can draw houses just on the computer. You got to touch no paper. If you want something, you can speak to a computer. There are computers you speak to. What you say, can you imagine? Those are the things we're talking about. How do we use our innovation to improve our lives? You now have solar energy that can power generators to give you light. So you don't need to even have fuel. There are solar power generators. Just put a solar panel outside and we have plenty of sun that can give electricity to a room or to a school or to a science lab. And so on this very, very, very special International Women's Day, I brought each of you 3 things. The first one is my message. And I will start with me. I was a little girl next door. Maybe right in Kwamata, near the Nigerian embassy. I was living in a zinc house. How many of you have zinc houses that you live in? So I lived in a zinc house until I graduated from the university. I remember my graduation day from the university. We had a party and I invited my friends. And so I grew up in a zinc house. I hope those of you who live in zinc houses do not see it as there's something wrong, because there's nothing wrong with you. People are born in certain circumstances, that's all. What you do with the opportunity now is left with you. Growing up in that zinc house, my father said to me, education is a light.
You know, I'm going to stop the first, the vice president there. I'm really going to stop her there, because she's not making sense to me. You can go and tell her. Is that why you came on this platform for? She's not making sense to me. This country is sorry for this country. Let me go and take a few comments. Let me go take this response from somebody who wrote this today, immediately after that program. I'm going to read this to you about her appearance to that event. I'm so disappointed. Very disappointed. Now, let me read this. The Vice President of Liberia. Who is that woman? I just don't know who to trust in this life. Women can be strange. Women know all too well how to undermine other women. Women, we are our own problems. That is why men don't give a two fat about us. It is sad. If we are not trying to make other women appear wrong, we are throwing some stupid shade, S-H-A-D-E-S, shades, or we are passing around being jealous and envious of each other, or we are fighting. Anything but being supportive. How can Joy take her precious time and go to that More Than Me school to visit, when she should be using her power to bring that Katie woman to book? How? And yes, this is why I'm here tonight. I'm deeply disappointed in our vice president. Hugely disappointed. Madam Joy Howard Taylor shouldn't have gone to grace that occasion. I don't care how you feel, but I know I've been into terrorist sector bodies for long, especially here in the United Kingdom, and running my own as well. The priority is to follow policies that are set up in the country that you operate, especially when you're working with vulnerable people. Children are vulnerable. They are. When you betray them, you destroy their future. When you lie to them, you damage their future. Why should this happen in our land, Madam Taylor? Why? This organization, you know very, very well what More Than Me did in Liberia, what they did to our children in Liberia. They would never ever do that in the Western world, where this organization, the organizer, came from, the United States of America. And I would like to rephrase it the other way around. If it was me that was running such an organization here in the United Kingdom, and such thing happened, forget it. Forget it right by long since. Immediately that organization is dead. It's closed down. Now me and my entire board will be in the hot water. One by one. One by one, they will face the law. Those who will shoulder the responsibility will face the penalty for it. I don't care if I'm related to the Prime Minister, if I'm related to the Minister of Justice here in the United Kingdom. That relationship will never work. They will never ever come there to undermine the case. No way. Their interest will be the safety of those children. Their interest will be about those that died. Why, Madam Taylor? Why? Why did you go to More Than Me today to go celebrate? To go praise them like that? That seriously? They are doing great things in Liberia? When they still have a dark cloud hanging over them, it's only because we are black and Africans, and maybe somehow, if I may borrow from Donald Trump, because we are what? A shithole countries in Africa? Sorry for my language, but I just want to get this out tonight. If it will be the last time for me to speak about this More Than Me that I have been speaking about, it will be. But Madam Vice President, when you get power, when you are educated and you get extra power, oh my God, and you know how to use it, you can use it so good for your people. And you yourself, when you go to sleep at night, you sleep sound. I wonder you will sleep sound tonight when you reflect on the More Than Me behavior, this organization activities. I wanted you to watch this documentary. Maybe you haven't seen it. Maybe, yes, maybe you haven't seen it since it came out. You've been hearing the case maybe just by reading the newspaper, and you flip, perhaps when you come across it in the newspaper, you just flip quickly and pass. You don't even want to know. Yes, you are my vice president. My tax is what paying you. I have the right to say it. And I would say we have the freedom to say that. I'm not going to insult, but I'm going to tell you that what you did today, Madam Vice President, it was wrong. In the wrong direction. You went to the wrong place. You raised You hail praises to the wrong organization. These people, by now, they should have been kicked out of Liberia. Your children, man. These are poor people children. Is it because of that? Because we know. If it was any member of your family attached to what we're talking about today, you think it would be like this? The kids would die like this? No way. It will never die. It will never die. You betrayed the trust of the children of Liberia. You betrayed the trust of the women of Liberia. Then you say you've gone to this event and you're telling us, you're telling the world that you are representing the women of Liberia at More Than Me event. I'm disappointed. I'm deeply disappointed in you, Madam Joa Howard Taylor, tonight. I am. For your appearance today, speaking at that event. Very, very, very unfortunate that you went there, knowing everything about the More Than Me project. I'm angry. And I wish all the women are feeling the same tonight. Those of you that saw the clip, those of you that heard about it today, I wonder how you're feeling. That it doesn't matter which part of the world you are. Whether you are feeling happy that the woman who is representing every woman of Liberia went to tell an organization that abused the children of Liberia. Thank you. Thank you. We are proud of what you're doing in the country. And you went to give More Than Me medals, gold medals. Shame. Shame. Shame on Liberia. Leaders, up to now, we don't have vision. The people will continue to use us just because we want little dollar from them. Yes. Give us this contract. This is your cut, your brown envelope. You get your few $1,000s. Yes. You compromise the rest of the people's interest. For few dollars. For a brown envelope. You compromise the children of Liberia's future. Why on earth should this be happening in Africa only? Why? Why on earth? We should sit down for people to leave from somewhere else to come and abuse our children. And we tell them, thank you. Thank you for abusing our children. Thank you. Thank you. Why on earth? Madam Taylor, you are educated. And many of us know this, that you are very educated. Now perhaps you can be a good leader. But from this attitude, from this point forth, for me, I've given up on you. For you to have gone to More Than Me event today and grace that occasion and extended thanks and appreciation for the work, the so-called work that More Than Me is doing in Liberia, Madam Taylor, I don't even know how to express how disappointed I am. Indeed, I don't even know. I use the words. Those children that died, they could be mine. Yes. Those children that were abused by Macintosh at More Than Me, they could be mine. Those are the way that those that were abused are made to keep silence. Up to now, the children can't talk. They could be my children as well. They're living without regret. Those children forever and ever, they are scars. Forever and ever. Because we know definitely there's nothing like counseling being provided for them. Because you don't even want them to know within themselves that they're being abused. You don't want them to know it. You don't want them to know. You should have been number one on the list since you come into power as a woman and say, look, from this point now, I got, a gavel of authority as the vice president of the Republic of Liberia. Women, anybody play with a woman, any man that will abuse a woman in this country, you should expect this or that. If any man abuse a little child, that little girl, forget it. You are in trouble. Oh yes. That's what I was expecting. But you coming to celebrate with more than me. You coming openly to say, to tell us, thank you for coming in Liberia and abusing our children and organizing an academy that your own employee can abuse the children of Liberia. Thank you more than me. That is what your vice president did today. As a woman, as a mother. Even if you don't want to talk about it, or you don't want to, you don't want this case to come back to light, keep your silence and just sit in your late corner. The invitation comes, as the vice president come and grace this occasion for us more than me is inviting you. Turn it down. Say I'm busy. I got another program to go to. But for you to have taken your precious time today, leaving our job, the job that we elected you for, the job that we giving you allowances for, to go to grace that occasion and accept that those children were right to have been abused. Madam Vice President, I give up on you. I'm deeply disappointed. You as a mother, I'm deeply, deeply disappointed. Let me take a short musical break, and from there, I will have a look at a few other stories that are making news in the paper today.
Oh, Daddy, what shall we do? Sins John.
What shall we do?
Welcome back to the show. It's great to be here with two shows that are combined tonight. The print news review and Profile Liberia. We're done with Profile Liberia. We just go straight. We're just going to take a couple of stories tonight here on the print news review. Let's go straight to the front page Africa. Appreciation to all of you that are on the platform tonight. A lot of people are shy and they don't want to call tonight. But let's go straight to pick up some of the headlines as they appear today in the front. We're going to do the print, the front page Africa. due to some other commitments. So let me share the headlines with you. Okay, let me share the headlines with you here as we go along. This is the, okay, let me see what's happening here. Okay, let me see what's happening. All right, this one says here, central bank gives conflicting figures in US 25 million probe amid calls for further investigation, I think. And this one says, Salif and Weeks seek bail. All 5 defendants spent, I think, their 3rd days or so in custody. And let's take a look at this one here. It says, what? Opposition political parties want President Weah to take action against the missing money. Okay, this is President Weah here, looking so fearful here. Breaking news: President Weah calls for second investigation into the mob, into the mobbing exercise. Okay, so that story just came out tonight. Let me see. This is the accident. As you can see, let me bring the camera a little bit closer. We see a victim there. Let's say what? Foul play or accident? Death of another central bank staff. That's triggered some concern as well. This is the car there. I don't know how that car was actually turned over. I have no idea. But if you can see here, I think that's the victim legs we're seeing over there. Almost like legs are gone. All right, quickly, let's see. Especially for some of you, CBL. Okay, this is the story we had a look at first. CBL playing. Okay, I don't know. Okay, let me see whether I can span some of the stories and read them, and then from there, okay, let me get the camera quite right. Let me get the camera to face me, and then I can expand. I can actually, okay, read some of these stories as they appear. Let me take the breaking news first. Okay, breaking news, courtesy of Front Page Africa. President Weah calls for second investigation into mob of US 25 million expenditure. Let's take it. This is it. Do not shut your mouth or keep asking for this money. Keep asking for more explanation. Those that those are supposed to be arrested will be arrested. They'll be brought to justice. And we're hearing about second investigation into the $25 million. We're getting there. This money issue is hanging a dark cloud over Liberia, and people are playing with it. Some of the sycophants, greedy gods, those who only want to survive by the day, from going from one office to another, be better today in Rovo, in Iseo, Kobosia Iyo. These are the people that are on social media every day and telling us that no money is missing. There's nothing to call for concern. But hear this. According to an executive mansion release few minutes ago, that tonight, the president, Mr. George Weah, has given the General Auditing Commission, GAC, 2 weeks to report its findings into further understanding of how the exercise of the US 25 million earmarked for the mopping of exercise of excess Liberian dollars in the economy was done by the Technical Economy Management Team, TEMT. TEMT is headed by Finance and Development Planning Minister Samuel Chue. This mandate from the President through the Ministry of Justice to GAC, grows out of the Presidential Investigative Team's report, which calls for a forensic investigation of the entire mob-up exercise carried out by the Central Bank of Liberia, and the report done by CRO, an institution of international repute, which was commissioned by the U.S. government. The Ministry of Justice by directive of President George Weah, has requested the General Auditing Commission to conduct an investigative audit into how the US $25 million earmarked for the mopping exercise was expanded, the executive mansion release states. The report by Crow, the firm hired by USAID, concluded that while its analysis of delivery documentation provided by the Central Bank of Liberia CBL confirmed that new banknotes totaling LD 15.506 billion were received into the CBL's reserve vaults, and that Crow found no information to support allegation that a container of banknotes went missing. There were a number of these discrepancies. The report also raises concerns regarding the overall accuracy and completeness of the CBL internal record, and identifies systematic and procedural weaknesses at the CBL, and identifies shortcomings in Liberia's fiscal and monetary management processes that are long-standing and continue to the present day. A second report by the Special Task Force set up by President Weah also raised some issues with the CBL's handling of the saga. The Presidential Investigation Team, in its report, also pained that officials of the bank acted criminally by conspiring to doctor and fix reports, which were contrary to the actual amounts printed and received by the CBL. More details to follow. Now, this is it. We are in it. We want our money, and this money must be accounted for. Nobody can tell us that they went on the sidewalk and gave people 5,000, give individuals that they have no connection with, they don't even know their addresses, and somebody telling us that they went there and took down their numbers, their email addresses and names, and gave them X amount of money, US dollars. Then you want us to believe it. Because what? We all are stupid people. Continue to give a conflicting report. I want to take this story on this accident. Just days after the accidental death of Matthew Innes, Deputy Director for Microfinance in the Regulation and Supervision Department at the Central Bank of Liberia, Front Page Africa has learned of another mystery death, this time involving Mr. Koli Bala, driver of one of the trucks who drove some of the LD 16 billion. Oh, I'm the Freeport of Monrovia. Hey, this story I was telling you, that different story here. Let me show you again. This story, that different story, and not even Innes accident here. Oh, you look at this story. So this is the guy, the driver. I presume that's him here. This is the car he was driving. And this is the story. Foul play or accident. Death of another central bank staffer triggers fears in missing billion saga. There you go. Really? Let me bring the camera back to me. Let me read this story. Really? Let me start this story over. The date is last updated March 7, 2019. Tonight. Reported by Redney Sear. don't know what's happening in our land. Let me share this story with you. Let me go over this story. Let me start from the top. This is just days after the accidental death of Matthew Innes, Deputy Director of Microfinance in the Regulation and Supervision Department at the Central Bank of Liberia. Front Page Africa has learned of another mystery death, this time involving Mr. Koli Bala, driver of one of the trucks who drove some of the LD 16 billion from the Freeport of Monrovia. Family sources have confirmed to FPA, that's Front Page Africa. Okay, my phone telling me I need some power. Let me just plug it before I continue. All right, that's done. The family sources have confirmed to Front Page Africa that Bala was killed instantly when his truck ran out of control while en route to Zozo, Lofa County, on Monday, February 11, 2019. He used to drive the truck that carries central bank money to the different destinations. He knew a lot and was ready to tell the truth until his death in that fake accident 3 weeks ago. A close relative to the deceased told Front Page Africa on Thursday. The family member says Mr. Bala's relatives are suspicious of his death because his body does not look like an accident, but rather a murder. The car was burned and he has no burnt marks. But CBL sources speaking to Front Page Africa on condition of anonymity said Bala and another driver were transporting money to Lofa when the car somersaulted. The other driver, only identified as Gabriel, was reportedly wearing his seatbelt, but Bala was not. We were informed that he was driving recklessly prior to the crash, the CBL source said. Bala, a driver and general support services staff, was responsible for maintaining a pool of sanitized vehicles and professional drivers. He was also tasked with ensuring that all CBL vehicles are mechanically fit and report all mechanical problems for repairs. As part of his term of reference, Bala was responsible for ensuring that all damaged vehicles are timely repaired. Bala is believed to be the one who drove one of the trucks with the local currency. Authorities say he might have an idea of where the truck routes. Late driver was probed on travel ban. Bala was one of 35 persons of interest the government investigated in connection with missing containers and bags of money amounting to 16 billion Liberian dollars. It can be recalled that last September, a man with the same name as Bala was prevented from traveling to the United States because he was one of the 35 on the list. Nuku Koli Bala, a senior staff of the Flomo Theatre production company, was caught up in a case of mistaken identity after he was scheduled to board a flight out of Liberia for the United States of America. At the time, immigration officials at the Robust International Airport prevented Nuku Koli Bala from traveling on Tuesday September 25th because his name was similar to that of Kolibala, the CBO driver who was on the list of those the government banned from traveling as part of the LD $16 billion saga. Mr. Nuku Kolibala was traveling to attend his sister's wedding in the States, but was told by immigration officials that they could not be sure of his identity. Therefore, they could not let him fly. Mr. Bala was then taken back to Monrovia, where he was subjected to spending a night in a holding cell at the Liberia Immigration Service office. The revelation of the death of Mr. Kolibala comes with days after the death of Mr. Innis, who died mysteriously last Saturday night in an apparent hit-and-run accident. Family sources told FPA that Innis had left his home on Saturday morning, telling his daughter and other family members that he was going to work, which was not a regular Saturday routine for him. But when they didn't hear from him for nearly the whole day, they tried to reach him via his mobile phone by 4 p.m. and couldn't get him, and never heard from him again until they heard that he had been involved in an alleged hit-and-run accident by 2 a.m. Sunday in his neighborhood around the 72nd junction on the Somalia Drive. A family member source, by 2 a.m., we only heard a group of young men banging our gates, saying that the Pape had been hit by a car and his body is on the road. Before we go to the road, his body has been removed. We were told that the police had taken him to Striker Funeral Home and the police was driving his car. Check. Central Bank of Liberia sources speaking to Front Page Africa on condition of anonymity said Bala and another driver were transporting money to Lofa when the car somersaulted. The other driver, only identified as Gabriel, was reportedly wearing his seatbelt, but Bala was not. We were informed that he was driving recklessly prior to the crash. The family source maintained that they don't believe that Innis was involved in a hit-and-run accident, but that he might have been murdered and his body dumped near where he lived. In fact, Mr. Innis never stayed out that late. He was always home very early in the evening from work. He never stayed out up to 11 p.m. His phone never goes off. But his daughter tried all throughout and his phone was continually off. This family source added, insisting that Mr. Innis might have been murdered. The death of both Innis and Bala comes just days after the release of 2 reports into Liberia's missing billion saga. At least 5 persons, including the immediate past former executive governor of the bank, Mr. Milton Weeks, and the present deputy executive governor for operations, Mr. Charles Salif, were picked up over the weekend by the Liberian National Police. Mr. Salif is son of former President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who some believe seriously played a role in bringing the present Liberian government into power. The report by Kroll, the firm hired by the United States Aid for International Development, USAID, concluded that while its analysis of delivery documentation provided by the Central Bank of Liberia, CBL, confirmed that new banknotes totaling LD 15.506 billion were received into the CBL's reserve vaults, and that Kroll found no information to support allegation that a container of banknotes went missing. There were a number of discrepancies. The report also raises concerns regarding the overall accuracy and completeness of the Central Banks of Liberia internal records, and identifies systematic and procedural weaknesses at the CBL, and identifies shortcomings in Liberia's fiscal and monetary management processes that are long-standing and continue to the present day. A second report by the Special Task Force set up by President Weah also raised some issues with the CBL's handling of the saga. The task force observed that the principle of Know Your Customer, KYC, was not observed throughout the mop-up exercise, thereby creating room for illicit exchange of money laundering. Review of the report submitted to the investigation by the 6 teams responsible for the disbursement and exchange of the United States dollars with the Liberian dollars home that some foreign exchange bureau and businesses were not duly registered, while other businesses received cash without proper identification. For example, reports submitted by the leader of the Team 2, Mr. Conta Riches, shows that there was no evidence of transactions with business entities, such as business registration document and address of these entities. There are several summary sheets in handwritten which do not have any identification that these vendors money and all signed for it. The task force also reported some businesses, institutions in the 3 categories mentioned above received lesser amounts than what was reported by the CBL. For example, the Union Local Forex Bureau located on Kerry Street received a total of US $5,500 on 2 separate occasions. US $3,000 on July 17, 2017, and US $2,300 on August 16, 2017. Then, what was reported by CBL in its report as the total amount received, US $161,900, US $103,720 on July 17, 2018, and US $58,400 on August 16, 2018. Reference to Exhibit 44 for Union Local Bureau's administration response. Finally, the CBL, in a statement signed by Governor Nathaniel Petrie, said in a statement this week, it is important to note that neither the Minister of Finance and Development Planning, as chairman of the TEMT, Honorable Samuel D. Twell Jr., nor any member of the TEMT was ever involved with the direct mopping operations. My people, that AL. Here, these are the stories. This is how we're going to end this show tonight. But news coming from Liberia is not healthy.
shall we do? Since John. Oh, Doddy, what shall we do? Since John. Oh, Doddy, what shall we do? Since John.
I would like to use this time to, on behalf of all of you on the platform and the two platforms as well, to extend our deepest condolences to the both family, to the two family people. Oh my God, what is happening in our land? Mr. Bala, Mr. Ennis, I don't know. If we say may your souls rest in peace, I don't even know whether it's going to work. All right, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for thanking me too, Mr. James Davis, and to all of you down on the platform. I appreciate you. May God bless you. May God bless the continent of Africa as usual. Above all else, may God bless Mama Liberia. I pray for your country.
Excuse me, my sister, when me holiday. I say, my brother, when me holiday. Me alone.